All right, everyone. So finally, the time has come to review the new Ace Inverted trucks. So I wanted to really put these trucks through as much abuse as I could before I did this review. I figured it was only fair to Ace and everything like that to really take some time, try to do like tons of slappies, tons of flip tricks, skate tons of ledges, and then put out a review to you guys. That way you guys know, like, hey, this is the durability of them, and this is all the things that are good, and some of the things you might look out for, and all that stuff. So enough talking for now. I'll get to some of the skating over the last, I think it's been like 6 months now, and then yeah, I'll talk about the trucks, tell you everything that I liked about them, and there is kind of one thing that I didn't like, but I kind of found a fix for it anyways. So I'll get into the skating now and then come back. All right, so that's some of the skating, or like I said, over this last 6 months. All right, let's talk about the trucks a little bit. Let's talk about the design and all that stuff. That way you guys can kind of, by the way, if you hear skating in the background, I'm at the curb spot. There's like my 2 sons and 2 other people skating here, so that's the sound. But so the way that these trucks, the way they design this kingpin system is, all right, so basically what Ace did is they built in this sleeve system, and I think this system is called the Click Lock Pro system. And so what that is it has like a hardened steel sleeve basically, and then it has these, they're kind of like detents basically, and it has on the kingpin itself, it has what's called channel lock grooves. And what these grooves do is when you tighten your trucks, you'll hear a click sound. And it's basically like, I don't know if it's, I can't remember if it's a quarter turn increment or a half turn increment, but it clicks it into place. And this does a few things. First of all, it keeps, because it's like a hardened steel, it's not going to shear off the threads like, or whatever inside the sleeve, like the kingpin won't. So it keeps the kingpin nice and stable and secure, and you're not going to get any wobble or side-to-side play that you kind of see over time with some other truck companies and stuff like that. So they tried to eliminate that by making this system as solid as possible. And also those detents and everything, they really lock the kingpin into place, and they prevent it from backing out. And that's a huge that's a huge issue with a lot of inverted kingpins, is over time they want to back out on you. And I myself have taken these trucks apart completely countless times, and I have yet to have any side-to-side play in the kingpin and no backing out on me at all. And the kingpins themselves have not broken. They are hollow, the kingpins. So they did use, the other thing that's a little bit different in these versus the other Ace trucks is they use an 86A standard bottom bushing, and then I believe it's a 94A low top bushing. So they took a low hard bushing, one of their low hards, and they put that with the standard bottom. So it kind of just gives a more refined, I guess, suspension system, as they say, and just really makes a nice smooth turn. I think the harder top bushing also helps them snap back into place when you do something like a crook or a feeble. Kind of helps, like, 'cause, you know, it's a buildup of pressure when you're doing those tricks, so it kind of helps you snap out of them. Like I said, it hasn't backed out on me. I've had no issues with the kingpin design or anything like that. I'm so stoked about that. And also it sits so freaking low. I don't know if you can tell, but I have barely even hit the washer at all. And mostly what I've hit on Feebles and Smiths and stuff is the yoke. And I just don't hang up on anything. It doesn't matter if it's concrete ledges that are rounded over, and there was some clips of those. Curbs that don't have like a really steep edge, like those will catch your kingpin a lot. Didn't have any issues with those. With doing Feebles and stuff like that with these trucks. They pinch great. Like I said, the harder top bushing really feels like it snaps you back out of the crooked grinds and all that stuff. These trucks, obviously, because, you know, Aces tend to, you're more sliding on base plate than wheel. Like Thunders, the standard Thunders, you're sliding more on the wheels, so you don't hit the base plate as much. These, it's more base plate, and it's meaty enough to where I haven't worn it down. I mean, that's the back one. Back tails usually for me kind of put a little hurting on the back base plate, but it's still holding on strong. There's enough meat back there in the back to where you're not hitting those rear bolts. What else? The hanger design for these. It's like hollowed as they described it to me. So basically it's hollow through a portion of the axle, and then it's solid, and then it's hollow again at the other end. And also the axle design, I don't know, I want to say the Spanky signature truck has this same axle, I think. I'm not positive, but I think it does. And it also kind of, I think it squiggles in there. I'm not sure how it squiggles, but it doesn't just go straight across. So you're not going to have any axle slippage or anything like that. The other thing I kind of noticed versus the older Ace AF1s, particularly like the AF1 hollows, was that these nuts in the older AF1 hollows, like when they first came out, they tended to like get loose on me really easy. With the ones that they have on here, I didn't have that issue. It wasn't like I could loosen it by hand even after a couple sessions or something like that. So that's really awesome. Really, the only complaint that I had was I was blowing out the top bushings kind of quickly. And I still don't know exactly what the reasoning is behind that. The top bushing really does sit under this washer really nicely, so it shouldn't make it mushroom out like crazy. So I'm not sure the exact reason, but I will say that the fix that I found for it that worked for me was I kept this low hard top, and instead of the standard hardness bottom, I used a standard hard bottom. So that just for some reason helped the tops stay intact. So I've been on these same tops for like a while now, ever since I switched to the harder bottom. So I don't know, it's probably been like a month or a month and a half. I haven't had any issues. So yeah, that was my only probably complaint. But like I said, I fixed it, and I really didn't I didn't notice a huge difference in like the turn or anything like that. I mean, it was a tad stiffer, but these trucks turn so good anyways, it didn't really make it feel like I couldn't turn. And you can get them plenty loose enough to where you can still turn. It just, I think for some reason it helps preserve that top bushing. So yeah, all in all, I rode these trucks on several different boards over these past 6 months. Different flight decks, different Pondulce boards, all kinds of stuff, toy machine boards. And I just didn't really have any issues other than the bushing thing. And like I said, I sorted that out. So these trucks have been fantastic. This has been, out of all the inverted kingpin systems I've tried, this has been hands down the best. Just been really good. Just bomb proof as far as the kingpin itself. Not bad. The biggest things for me were just, I don't want it to back out. I want to have a lot of clearance, and I don't want it to get like wobbly. And all those issues were solved. So huge thank you to Ace Trucks for letting me try these. Justin Reynolds was super cool to me during this whole process, and I can't explain enough how thankful I am that they would even let me try a set. So if you're looking for a really good inverted kingpin design, honestly, in my opinion, this is the best on the market. And if you're having that issue with the bushings, try what I said. So yeah, if you try it out and you like these trucks, go let them know. Tell them that Robbie sent you. So those are my thoughts on these trucks. And yeah, I'll show you some of the wear right quick. That's the front truck, lots of crooks and stuff. Back truck. Yeah. So I'll catch you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed this video. Later.